Hello, first graders, and welcome back to your next math lesson. Today we're going to work on Unit 3, Lesson 2, and it's a little bit more some math number story problems. And I'm hoping after our lesson that you will be able to say these words. This is our I can statement. I can solve story problems with unknown partners. So at this time, you may pause the video to grab your math notebook and a pencil. Great job. Today, we're going to open to our next clean available page, and we are going to work on this math story problem here. You do not have to write the story problem, but we are going to work on solving the story problem together. So here we go. What do we need to remember about a story problem? You are right. We need to remember to write the deal. D-E-A-L. And those letters stand for the way that we solve the story problem. It's our thinking that we show. D stands for drawing. E is equation. A is for the answer. L is for the label. We want to know what we're talking about. So we want to remember from the other day that we can solve problems and story problems in different ways. So we talked about math mountains are a way to solve story problems and show our thinking. Circle drawings are another way that we can show our thinking and solve the equations. Or we learned yesterday too that we can even use our fingers. Now, if we're showing the deal, you can imagine that the fingers would be a problem because you're not here with your teacher to show your thinking. And what if we come across an equation someday that requires more fingers than we have on our hands? That could be a problem. So it's still an option for some equations, but I think to show our thinking for our teacher, especially with remote learning, we're going to need to use a math mountain and or a circle drawing. Those might be your best bet right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and try and solve this equation and thinking about its parts. Okay, it says, I see 6 butterflies. 4 are yellow, the rest are white. How many butterflies are white? Okay, so I'm listening to this and I hear certain parts of the equation, but something's missing. So let's identify what we have here. I see 6 butterflies. To me, that sounds like a total. So I'm going to draw a circle drawing to show that total. You're going to do the same thing right now in your notebook. Go ahead and draw your circle drawing. There's my 5 group, and one more makes 6. Okay, and it says 4 are yellow. So I'm going to take 4 of them and put in a break apart stick. One important addition that your teacher is going to want you to show is labeling. Since these are all talking about butterflies, we want to label them, and these were identified by their color. So I'm going to put under these 4 circles here that represent the butterflies, those are representing the yellow butterflies. So I'm just going to put a little Y right here, and that's going to remind me that those 4 circles are for the yellow butterflies. Well, the rest are over here. So these 2 must be the white butterflies. So get into the habit of, you could either write the word yellow or the word white, or in this case, we could just write the letter to remind ourselves. That will help you keep track of your thinking. So now I'm going to go ahead and try and write my equation from this. We started with 6 butterflies. That was our total, okay? And I like to put my equal sign there. And what are the partners that made the 6 butterflies? Well, there were 4 yellow ones and an unknown partner. We had to solve to figure out this number, the partner that was missing. And we decided that there were 2 white ones. And then I'm just going to write a little line right here for my label. And what is it that we're talking about? How many butterflies are white? So butterflies is our topic. So I'm going to copy the word butterflies onto my label line. It's a long word, write small. Butterflies. Nicely done. Okay, let's go back and see if I have all of the parts. Did you make a drawing? If you did, give yourself a little check mark. Equation. Yes, right here I have an equation and an answer. Yep, it's identified right here and the label. Very good. Good job. Just so you know, there are other ways to write this equation, but for now, we're just trying to show you the unknown partner here. So that's why I showed it in this way. There is more than one correct answer though. Okay, and then if I were to show a math mountain, just to make sure I'm going to check my thinking, I could put the 6 at the top of my math mountain. And we knew the four yellow butterflies, but we did not know how many of those butterflies were white. So that's what my math mountain would look like. And now that I know it's 2, I can go ahead and add that in there. Okay, so I showed my thinking with the whole deal, and I used a circle drawing and I used a math mountain. You could use your fingers. You could start out with 6 butterflies and show the 4 that are yellow and be left with 2 that are white. You could show that to your teacher in person. Let's slide down our paper just a little bit and try this next one. And I'll leave this on here so we can see these things. Now you can see, unfortunately, I wasn't planning ahead very well and didn't leave myself very much room. So I'm going to slide this paper under there to give myself a little bit more room to do my deal. So that's what, of course, I start out with is writing the deal. For the drawing, you do the same thing. The equation, the answer, and the label. I like to say that as I write it so I remember those parts. Okay, let's go ahead and read this story problem so we can go ahead and set it up on our paper. You don't have to write the story problem, but you need to do this part with me, okay? There are 8 rolls on a tray. 5 rolls are round. The rest are long. How many rolls are long? Okay, so let's identify the parts that we know. There are 8 rolls on a tray. That is the total. You and I are both going to represent the total with some circles. Make a 5 group. Okay, there's my rolls. 5 rolls are round. So go ahead and put in a break apart stick after you've found your 5 round rolls. Happens to go right here. And I'm going to put R right here for round. Again, labeling. That way I know that these 5 circles represent the rolls that are round. The other kind of rolls that were on the tray were long. Here are the other ones. They were long. So now let's go ahead and try and write an equation that goes along with this. We started out, there were 8 rolls on a tray. 8 is the total. We also know that 5 of the rolls are round, but there are also some long rolls. And we weren't sure about that until just now. So we were looking and solving for a missing or unknown partner. These 2 numbers are partners of the total 8. So we discovered that there were 3 rolls and they happen to be long. So right next to this, I'm going to put my label line. And how many rolls are long? I'm going to borrow that word and write it right down here. Long. Ooh, you're going to learn about this little chunk right here in our phonics next week. So let's see if that makes sense. Let's see. Did you and I both do a drawing? Yes. Did we write an equation? Yes. Did we write the answer? Of course. And the label? Yes. Did we show the whole deal? Yes, indeed we did. Great job. Now there is another way to write this equation, but I wrote it this way because we were solving for this unknown partner, just so you know. Now, if I was going to check my work with a math mountain, what number would go at the top? You go ahead and write a math mountain on the side or next to your problem. What number goes at the top? You're right, the total. The total number is 8 rolls that were on the tray. What are the partners that make the total 8? In this story problem, you're right. It was the partners 5 and the unknown partner 3. 5 and 3 are partners of the total 8. Nice work, first graders. Good job. Okay, let me grab my notebook here. I have a challenge for you because I have a little bit of a different kind of problem. And this story problem, I'm giving you numbers, but in a different order. So I wrote on my paper here for you that this is a little bit of a challenge. It doesn't mean it's hard. It just means that it's a little bit different way of thinking. So stick with me here and we can do this together. Again, it's a story problem. So how do we start out? We start out, I'm just going to slide that under there. We start out by writing the deal that helps us remember all the steps we're going to include in our math thinking. I bought 5 pencils yesterday. Today, I bought more pencils. Mr. Cousins does say I'm always shopping. Now I have 7 pencils in all. How many pencils did I buy today? Okay. Well, there are a couple different ways that we could solve this problem. So you can go ahead and try it on your own and pause the video, or you can keep going, solve it, and I'm just going to solve it. I'm going to model one of the ways to do it. So I do recognize that the numbers that were given to me are in a different order. So first I have to identify which number am I looking for. Okay, I'm going to read it again. I bought 5 pencils yesterday, and today I bought more. We don't know how many. Now I have 7 pencils in all. Ooh, right here. In all tells me that this number 7 is my total. So if I was doing a math mountain, 7 would be my total. 5 pencils would be one of my partners. 5 yesterday. And I bought more today. Okay, and I'm going to put a little T for today. So it looks to me as though we're solving for another unknown partner. Okay, so now I know how I can draw my picture. I'm going to draw the total number of pencils, which is 7. Even 5 group. Okay, there's my total. And I know that I bought 5 yesterday. So I'm going to put my break apart stick here. Okay, and I'm going to put a Y for yesterday. I'm going to label those 5 circles so I know that that represents the pencils that I purchased yesterday. So how many, oh, right here, look at, how many pencils did I have that I bought today? So 2. Okay, so now I'm going to write my equation. The total number of pencils, I could write it in 2 different ways. I could start and write it the way that I was doing the other problems. 7, the total, is the same amount as 5 plus 2. I could write it that way. Or you might have even written it a different way. You might have written it in order of how the equation is written or the story problem is written. So I bought 5 pencils yesterday. You could also write it like this: 5 pencils plus the pencils that I bought today is a total of 7. Either way, they're both correct, and both are looking for the missing or unknown partner. So you could write it the way that we did as I modeled first, or you could write it in the way that the story problem was given to you. Either way is correct. Let's go back and see if I showed my thinking using the deal. Did you and I both make a drawing? Yes. Did we write an equation? You do not have to write both, just one of them. So either one is fine. Did we write the answer in the box? Yes. Did we write a label? Uh-oh, that's what I forgot. Okay, so I'm going to write it right here. How many pencils did I buy today? We bought pencils. There we go. Now can I check off that I wrote a label? Yes. Good job. I showed the whole deal with my thinking, and I can even write the 2 for the unknown partner right there. Okay, see how it's not really harder, it's just different. That's why I wrote challenge on the top. Okay, let's try another one because I want to make sure you feel confident before you go off to try this on your own. So slide down your paper just a tiny bit more. And this story problem, let me move it up. There you go. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to start out with is writing the deal because I see that this is a math story problem. Drawing, equation, answer, and label. Okay, you do not have to write these words, but you're going to listen to my story problem and help me write what's down here. Okay, this one is about Roberto. Roberto walks 4 blocks to the store. Then he walks to school. How many blocks does Roberto walk from the store to school? I don't know, but this kid's getting a lot of exercise. I guess that's a good thing, right? Okay, so let's determine what we are looking for. Are we looking for a total? Or are we looking for a missing or unknown partner? So let's figure that out. Roberto walks 4 blocks to the school. Then he walks to school. And how many blocks does Roberto walk? So let's see here. Oh, you know what? There's a piece of information left out of here, Mrs. Cousins. Oh, you know what? I forgot to write in my story problem that Roberto walks 10 blocks in all. I forgot to put that up here. So that's going to help us figure this out. I thought maybe there was a number missing. So you know what? Roberto walks 10 blocks in all. There are those words again, in all. And that tells me that this is my total, right? So let's go ahead and put that in our math mountain. Okay, you write your math mountain on your paper. And what is the other number that we know? We know that he walks 4 blocks to get to the store. So I'm going to write 4, and I'm going to write store. I'm going to write that whole word on here because school also begins with the letter S, and I don't want to be confused. Okay, so we know the total is 10. We know one of the partners is 4. So now we can start to write out our drawing. So the total is 10. So let's draw some circles to represent the blocks that he walks. Make a 5 group, leave a space. Okay, so here's my total number of blocks that Roberto walks. And let's put in our break apart stick to show the 4 blocks that he walks to the store. Okay. And I'm also going to write store underneath here to label what those 4 circles represent. Store. It's a good habit to get into labeling those circles so you know. Your teacher will also love it. Okay, so let me see here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, he walks 6 more blocks to get to school. Okay, well, let's go ahead and write this equation. Remember, there's more than one way to write this. I'm going to write it the way I modeled in the first few problems. So I'm going to start with the total. 10 blocks is the same amount as the 4 that he walks to school plus the blocks that he walks, 4 blocks to the store and then 6 blocks to school. Or I could write this in the order that the story problem was given to me. So you don't have to write both. Okay, you do not have to write both. Roberto walks 4 blocks to the store and then he walks more blocks to the school and he walks 10 blocks in all. So I could have my missing or unknown partner here. So either way, I write my equation, I'm still looking for the unknown partner. 4 and 6 are both partners of the total 10. So now I need my little label, and it says, how many blocks does Roberto walk from the store to school? And it's 6 blocks. Well, there's the CK after a short vowel. Look at that. Okay, so the unknown partner that I was solving for over here was 6. Okay, so let's go back and see if I showed my thinking with using the deal. Did I make a drawing? Yes. Did you and I both make an equation? You only have to write one of them. Remember, only have to write one. Yes. Did I put my answer in a box? Yes. And did we write the label? Yes. Did we show our thinking with the whole deal? We certainly did. We did a great job. I'm sorry I forgot about that part here. I must have been distracted. Okay, so I'm hoping you're feeling confident with this and you can try some of these on your own. So here's what we're going to do now. We're going to turn to our workbook page 99. And I wrote on here, don't forget to use the deal. So don't forget to write that first thing before you start solving your equation. Your teacher is going to look for that in the rectangle box. And then I would like you to take a picture of your page so that you can show your teacher your very fabulous, wonderful thinking. So the math page looks like this. Oops, sorry, it's a little blurry. Okay, so Unit 3, Lesson 2, it says show your work using drawings, numbers, or words. And really, if you're doing the deal, you're doing that. So right up here is deal. Okay, and what the math people did is they put a little picture over here, and sometimes kids think that's the word that becomes the label, and very often it is. But sometimes they're just giving you a little picture clue here so you can read the story problem independently. So this one says, we see 9 fish. 5 are big. The others are small. How many fish are small? So they gave you kind of a tiny little space here to work. But I bet you can do it because you're going to think ahead about all those parts you need to include right here. And you're going to make sure that you have all those parts. And if you have room for a little math mountain here, that would be great to show your thinking. So you're going to work on these story problems here. And then at the bottom, ooh, this is a great question. And just because it doesn't have numbers down here doesn't mean that you may skip it. You need to answer the question. It's part of the work. Why is it important to write a label in the answer? That means why is the L part of the deal? Why do we need to worry about a label? So think about that and write a sentence here explaining your thinking. Don't forget capital letter and punctuation. Okay? So that's that part of the lesson. Then the second part of the lesson is going to look like this. But before you begin this, you may need to gather some things to act out the partners on the page. So I said maybe at your house you might want some paper plates, or maybe you have a little scrap of paper, or a piece of construction paper or something, and you might want some 6 objects. And I wrote down that you could use marbles or matchbox cars, mini marshmallows or chocolate chips, pieces of cereal. Just make sure your hands are clean. And you only need 6, and you're going to put some on this paper plate and the rest on this paper plate, and you're going to write the partners of 6. And then you're going to do it again, but in a different way. And then again, but in a different way. And again, but in a different way. So I drew this picture on my notebook. You don't have to do that because yours is here. I guess you could even put your small objects on these pretend little paper plates here, okay? And then put your partners of 6. And then, really, really important, again, a lot of kids, they forget this check mark part at the end. Check your understanding. This is not optional. This is not do it if you feel like it. This is part of the work that you need to show your teacher. This says, Kelly has 5 cubes. He gives some to Maria and some to Jake. How many cubes can he give each person? Then it says find 3 answers. So maybe you want to do your math thinking in a notebook. You could do that and then just record your partners right here. So you're going to show 5 equals blank plus blank, but we're looking for 3. Then you're going to write it again, blank plus blank. We're looking for those partners, and 5 equals blank plus blank. So you may do your thinking on a separate sheet of paper, but remember, we need to have you finish this part of the problem too. So when you're done today, you're going to have a snapshot of this page, and then after this page is completed, you're going to show another snapshot of this page, and you're going to upload that into the Seesaw activity so that your teacher can see all of your fabulous hard work. Happy math, work hard. You can do it.